This is The Difference Makers, a Paladin Security podcast. Each week, we take you inside the world of security for a first-hand look at the inner workings of the industry. But it's about more than just protecting property and manning events. It's about going above and beyond to make the world a safer and friendlier place.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of The Difference Makers. I'm Diego Viramontes. This month, we had a great talk with one of Paladin Security's Portfolio Resource Coordinator, Jad Boussi. Jad's biggest passion is to help people and give back to the community. He had no idea what security was all about until he joined Paladin Security. He wanted to become a police officer, but decided to stay in the security industry because he realized he was in the best position to fulfill his passion helping others. In this episode, he talks about how to take fast growth opportunities head-on in the security industry and how to mix passion with professionalism. Also, he talks about security training as life training and becoming the best version of yourself, connecting with your team through experience, and how to get where you want to be professionally. Jad, thank you so much for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us in The Difference Makers. Thank you for making time for this. Now, how are you?
I'm doing okay today, and how about yourself?
I am not too bad. So, to get things started, I would love to know a little bit about Jad. Tell me a bit about your background, where are you from, what was your first contact with the security industry, and I guess how did you run into Paladin?
Sure. First of all, I would like to thank you guys for inviting me to be here today. It's a big pleasure for me to be here today. So to talk a little bit about myself, to start with it, when I first came to Canada, I was 11 years old. I came from Africa.
Yeah.
I didn't know a word in English. I only spoke French. So I went to a French grade school, kind of went to a French high school, kind of grew up in a French community and stuff like that. It was definitely great to be part of this community here in Canada. So when I first got here, I found how welcome this community is, how safe you feel to be here. So I kind of loved it. And while in school growing up, I kind of realized that me as a person, I always like to help out and like to give back to people.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I always loved doing, right? So throughout high school, I kind of thought about doing something, and I wanted to do policing.
Oh.
So policing was a big thing on my mind, right? And the reason I wanted to do policing is because I always wanted to give back to the community, and I always want to be there to help all people. And I've kind of realized policing is the right fit for that career, right? So while looking into that, going through high school, went to college. So the first thing, how I ran into Paladin, so that's the fun part. So I was applying to colleges. I applied to a bunch of colleges. I think I applied to college in Toronto, applied to college in London, I applied to college in Windsor. So they had an open house. So I see Paladin guards on site. So I kind of for me that day, I kind of see how the professionalism that Paladin offered me that day kind of got my attention on that. And for me as a person, I always kind of look, if I want to work for a company or go work for somebody, I always look for the core values, right? At the end of the day, if I want to represent somebody, I want to make sure that this company is really known for being professional, right?
Right.
So that was my first time when I kind of seeing what Paladin has to offer. That caught my attention on that too. So since that day, for part of the process for me to build my file to be able to get into policing was to join the security industry in a way so I can get some experience. So I first got my security license. I did some research about Paladin because, like I said, Paladin was the first company that got my eye on it.
Yeah.
I got great feedbacks on it. I remember my first day, I printed my resume. I walked down to the office. I walked into the office. I was asking for HR. I was like, hey, can I would I be able to drop off my resume? He was like, of course you can. So I dropped off my resume. And when I walked into this office, the way they welcomed me, even though I wasn't a member yet, the way I was welcomed, and I was like, wow, that must be a great company, right? So so since that day, I dropped my resume, and then I got a phone call. I think it was 2 weeks after that. I got an interview. I got my first interview. I got my second interview, and then I got hired as a casual guard.
Nice.
So I got hired as a casual guard. I was only on call. I used to get excited when I get a phone call. Hey, are you available to work a shift today? I was like, of course I am.
Yeah.
So those are actually excitement moments, right? So I did casual for a little bit. So then after that, I was offered a site. So now I have a permanent site for myself. And then after offering me a site, I did that for a little while as well between sites and also still picking up other shifts also. And then more opportunities came along the way, and I was able to apply for mobile supervisor. I got the position, and I was glad to get it. After a little while, I also applied. There's a position opening up for zone supervisor, and I did apply for that as well, and I did get it, and that was great. Also, it was great experience. It was, I was always down for the challenge. And just so you know, like when I first joined Paladin, I had no idea what security is all about until I joined Paladin, right? The training I got from Paladin, the support I got from Paladin, everything I needed was offered, and that was the greatest thing about it. Everything I needed was there. So I was like, you know what? If they're offering me everything I need, I can do the job. So I went from casual to a permanent guard, from a permanent guard to a mobile supervisor. From a mobile supervisor, I went to a zone supervisor.
So let's talk a bit about that.
Yes.
Let's talk about that progression, that journey that you had with Paladin. First of all, I guess, how long have you been with the company, Jad?
I've been with Paladin since the beginning of 2018.
2018, awesome. So that's okay. That's a fast growth. So you started as a casual.
So I started as a casual guard, and I moved from casual, and I got a permanent site. So I was still a regular guard at a permanent site. So I wasn't on call anymore. I got my permanent site.
Nice.
And then after that, after moving from my permanent site, I applied for a mobile supervisor.
Right.
So to be part of the mobile team, and I was accepted, and I got the position. It was great. And then a little while after that, I applied for zone supervisor, which is still in the mobile patrol team, but it was a higher rank. And I was able to get that. I was accepted for it. It was a great experience. And I did that for a little bit. And then here today, I am the PRC for the Windsor branch because I was able to apply for it, and I was successful, and I got the position, and I'm glad I did.
Walk me through what a portfolio resource coordinator does, Jad.
Yeah, of course. So the Portfolio Resource Coordinator, pretty much, so here at the Windsor branch, I oversee the schedule department. So pretty much we have a team that runs the schedule for the Windsor branch here from Windsor to Chatham. So I make sure that team is scheduling the right people for the right positions and meets the client needs as well.
Yeah.
And also I'm more on the field as well. So during my shift, I'm on site, making sure that I'm there for the guards' needs. So any issues that can be fixed regarding scheduling, uniform-wise, concerns about anything it has to do with vacation takes off, anything like this, anything has to do with scheduling and making sure the clients are getting the needs they want at a guard level, at a service level. Also making sure we're always staying at the professional level, and also making sure I'm always kind of like reporting to the client service manager, kind of see his needs where there's some issues at, so I can kind of help him out on that as well. So as a PRC position, I kind of do a bit of everything, but my biggest focus is running the schedule department to make sure that these guards they're on time, got what they need, and make sure the client is happy.
That's awesome. I love it. This growth, this journey, this progression that you've had is a shining example of Paladin's promotion from within philosophy, which is a philosophy that Paladin lives by. So how did Paladin's promotion from within help you develop both personally and professionally, if it did, to support this career in security that you have?
The Paladin promotion definitely helped me in my professional career a lot. Mm-hmm. Like I said, when I first joined Paladin, I had zero experience in security. And part of the Paladin training and support they give you, they pretty much allow you to do anything you're willing to do in a way where if you have any passion in security, the right tools are available for you. Mm-hmm. So if you really want to grow within the company, they offer you all the solutions on the table, and it's up to you to pick it up or not, right? So that was the biggest thing that got my eye on it. I was like, the opportunities for you on the table. It's either I walk away or I sit down and I take it. And I sat down and I took it.
Nice.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that kind of got me attached to this company, because in a way where it's offered for you, you shouldn't walk away. You should definitely sit down and take it, because opportunities like that doesn't happen every day, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you said you joined security because you wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement. Now, why did you decide to stay in the security industry, and like how did it become this passion / career for you? Because a lot of people join the security industry wanting to pursuing a career in law enforcement, and a lot of them do. A lot of them do transition into law enforcement, but a lot of people realize that the security industry is a whole world of opportunity, a whole world in itself, and they stay and they grow from within, and they grow from within the company. So why did you decide to stay here, Jad?
That is a great question, because that's a question I kind of ask myself the same thing I literally asked myself the same question when I made that decision. And to be honest with you, the reason why I did that is because sometimes in life you don't know what you're good at, right? Until you try it. So when you give it a try and you realize how happy you are doing it, and how when you finish your shift at the end of the day, you're kind of excited to come back the second day. That's a big sign right there, right? In a way, for me, my whole goal in life was to help out people, right? And I realized at Paladin, I can definitely deliver the same message. I can definitely do the same thing. So for me, being in my position today, being able to help out all these guards that work for Paladin, not only the guards, the clients, not even the clients, also the community as well, I was able to commit a deal with Paladin and VON Windsor Essex. I was able to have the team of Paladin support that charity community to help out the community with delivering groceries to their houses on a daily basis with the support of Paladin. So when I seen Paladin offering all these helps, not only for myself but for the community, that was my main goal. Since I was a kid, I wanted to help out. So Paladin was able to do it. So that's why I kind of stuck here, because you know what? They're offering it. I love doing it. I love my position. So why leave, right? Let me stay here and let me offer more. If we could do this, we can do more, right?
That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that you found like your connection with what you wanted to do, and that Paladin was able to enable that for you. And you were
exactly.
like, well, maybe I'm meant to be here, you know? That's awesome. Now, you already talked about it a little bit.
Yes.
When was like that point when you said, I want to grow with this company?
So the point when I was like, when I decided to go with this company, I'll tell you the biggest reason why I did that comes back to management. Management, since the when I started with this company, had the biggest support, right? And that's big. When you go into work and you have the management needed and they're offering you the help and the support you want, that's every employee would love to have that, right? But the thing is, here at Paladin, the difference is they go above and beyond. When you see the management going above and beyond, this is when that's the reason why I was like, oh, you know what? I want to keep that chain going on to other people, right? So the same way I felt appreciated, I want to make sure I want to pass it on to other people. So that's the reason why I stayed, because I want to make sure that whatever I did, I want to pass it on to other people, because if I did it, anybody can do it.
At Paladin, we have really good mentorship. There's always someone that's there to take you by the hand and like help you grow as a mentor. There's always leadership that's able to kind of help you take your security career to the next level. Did you have anyone like a mentor, a teacher, someone that really helped you grow up the ranks, Jad?
Yeah, I do actually. So I do have two mentors at Paladin that kind of helped me through this whole journey, give me the extra help and support. One of my biggest mentor here at Paladin is Jason Lina. He's our director for Southwest Ontario. He's definitely a person that you can literally walk into his office anytime. His door is always open for you. He kind of gives us the support needed always. He always made me feel appreciated. You know what I mean? No matter what I've done, it could be something mistake I've done or I could have done the right thing. It's always the same support, and that's something you want to show to others, right? Because if you show somebody that, hey man, you're welcome no matter what, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, you're always welcome to my office. You're always welcome to sit here and tell me about the concerns you have on your mind. That's the biggest thing you want, right? So me feel comfortable, letting him know my concerns all the time and what's the right and what's not, and then him discussing with you, finding solution, that kind of helps you in a way where to move forward, to look for things better to do and always, right? And also my client service manager, Matt Dennis, was always there for me also, right? He always pushed me to do better. He always pushed me to do the right thing. And he always kind of led me to be kind of like my own leader type of way, right? So that's those two guys, have a big shout out for them for kind of like bringing me to that position I am today.
Jad, so
Yes.
What part of Africa are you from?
I'm from Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, yes.
I'm originally from Mexico City, so I mean that's proof that Paladin has so many staff members with different stories, diverse cultural backgrounds. What do you think about working with such a diverse team? Has this helped you grow in any way? Is there any experiences you'd like to talk about?
Of course, of course. Being in a team that is diverse is really important because for me personally, I think the more we are diverse, the more we can relate to people, right? And the more we can relate to people, the better we can get the job done. If the better we can get the job done, the easier it is for everybody, right? And being diverse is not only about getting the job done, it's always about connecting to people because once you connect to people, you will always feel welcome and you always feel appreciated. And this is what, as a Paladin family here, this is what we want to make others feel like it, right? You could be a Paladin member, you cannot be a Paladin member, but the minute you walk into our office, you are more than welcome no matter who you are. So that's the one thing that Paladin is big on, diversity, right? And like I always said, being diverse is always the greatest thing to have, and also being part of a diverse team always makes people more appreciated. So the diversity that Paladin has is one of the biggest. Once again, when I told you I look at core values and I look at diverse stuff, this is something that I'm happy to be proud. I'm proud to be part of. Being part of one of the biggest diverse security company in Canada. That's something really out there that people should be. If anybody's part of a diverse team, they should be grateful for it because like I said, once again, being in a diverse team, you can always have more ways to connect to people.
And that was a really good answer. I loved it. That was inspiring. Thanks so much for that. You did mention earlier Paladin's training. Paladin has an industry-leading training. It's pretty unique how Paladin trains their security professionals with all the specialized courses, mentorships that we just talked about, coachings. So tell me a bit, Jad, what kind of knowledge, skills, and tools have you gained that boosted your career in security? And I guess, do you still use those skills today?
Well, definitely, yeah, for sure. I would say the biggest skill I've learned from Paladin throughout the courses I've learned here, the training I've learned here was professionalism, right? The opportunity that Paladin offers you is it's a really good opportunity because it allows you to learn new stuff every single day. So professionalism is one, integrity is another one. Pretty much the training that Paladin offered from day one here made me a better person every day. On my work field, at home, my personal life, my social life, there's always one thing I always utilize from the Paladin training, kind of mixed it with other things. In a way, it could be the way I speak to people, the way I relate to people, the way I communicate with people, the way I connect with people. And it's not only the training for myself to be out there on patrol to kind of protect myself. That is a big one too, right? But the training that Paladin offers you is pretty much eventually by yourself, you'll find solution for it. It just becomes something naturally. It hits you, then you should be able to find solution on the spot for any type of problem. Like you might not think of it in the same minute, but the minute you deal with the issue, you go back at it, you realize it, you're like, you know what? That was great. The way I handled it was pretty nice. But then if you look into it, these are the training that you were offered this whole time, trained by being around professional people, like being around management too, right? You learn stuff from these people. So you learn a bit of everything. You go on sites, you learn a bit of the guards, you go in the office, you learn a bit of management, you go on the road on patrol, you learn a bit of everything, you learn a bit of people, what they go through on a daily basis, right? So it's like knowledge everywhere, right? So you become the best version of yourself.
Nice. That's a quote. No, you know what? Like what's interesting is that if you look at almost every single leader inside the company, they followed the same progression from being a security officer into a supervisor, a CSM. They all kind of follow that progression, and they all have received the same kind of training. So, I mean, it's a pattern. A lot of our leadership has that same progression, that same training, and I think you're following those steps, my dear Jad.
Yeah, for sure. There's also one thing I can tell you. The main reason why I can connect to the guards on the field is because I understand where they're coming from because I've been there and I've done it. I know sometimes you can have bad days. I know sometimes you can have good days, and I know how it feels to be like that, right? So when I'm out there talking to these guards and I'm out there finding solutions for them, some of them will be surprised because some of them will be like, how did you find that out? Because you know what? Because I know how it feels to do this. So that allows you to complete your job in a better way because you can understand these people where they're coming from. And that is a big thing, right?
Nice. Love that. Now, typical question. What is the thing or the things that you love the most about working at Paladin? Like, what inspires Jad every day to go into the office and go to work?
The culture. The culture is the biggest thing. Coming to the office, seeing the office staff, everybody's different here. Everybody got their own thing. Everybody got their own stories. You know what I mean? It's like you learn new things every day. So this is what I said earlier. For me, being a Paladin, when I finish my shift at the end of the day, I look forward to be here the second day. That's how much support I show this company, because what they gave me, I'm giving them back, right?
Right. So to all of those listening to this podcast, Jad, what piece of advice would you give to someone looking to move up the ranks just like you did? And I mean, you're still on your way, but what piece of advice would you give to someone looking to move up the ranks just like you did?
I would say the biggest thing, be patient. Patient is definitely a key for everything. You got to be patient and you got to go through the challenges, right? There's a lot of challenges you're going to have to go through, be able to get to what you want. If you care about what you're doing, I promise you it will show at the end, right? Show your people that whatever you're doing, you're loving doing it and you want to be here. That's the biggest thing you want to do, right? Just give your 100% to work, because this is what you're here for, right? So I said, be patient and always look for the bigger picture. That's it.
That's really good advice. Thank you. What is next for Jad professionally? What is next for you professionally? What are some of your short-term or long-term goals? Where do you want to go?
I would say my next step would be anything to give more back to society. This is literally what I want. This is literally what I'm looking for. And Paladin is offering me this. So it looks like me and Paladin, we got a long way to go.
Jad, this was an amazing conversation. Thank you for such a good chat. It was such a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for all those, for all that information, all that inspiring information. Thank you so much for being here.
Not a problem, Diego. It was nice chatting with you, and it was nice meeting you, man. We'll talk soon for sure.
Hey, thanks for tuning in with the Difference Makers. If you want to hear more about the ins and outs of the security industry from real professionals, be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share. Also, check out new episodes on the first Tuesday of every month. Till next time.